For an update on Israel, probably the most important thing is that 4 hostages out of over 220 have been released by Hamas. Now, if you're like me, you probably were confused by this at first because you're wondering, why would they give away their leverage? Because that is the purpose of taking hostages, especially in a situation where the bad guy wants more than a ransom. They're interested in a lot more than just money. So what happened here and why in the world are they doing this? Well, John Bolton told Newsmax that Hamas is, quote, trying to delay the entry by the Israeli Defense Forces into Gaza to dig in further to create more booby traps for them, and it puts the lives of the remaining 200 plus hostages in even further jeopardy. Joe Truzman from the Foundation for Defense of Democracies tweeted, Hamas says it has released 2 hostages. The group also says the hostages were released due to humanitarian reasons. While this may sound like a credible excuse, it's not. It's simply a tactic to create international pressure on Israel to delay a ground incursion into Gaza. I mean, it is ridiculous for a terrorist group to claim humanitarianism after raping, murdering, decapitating, pillaging, and kidnapping thousands of people. But this speaks to a facet of this war that I think most are dismissing, and that is that Hamas is wielding the weapon of the media. It's like the new war version of propaganda. All the liberals will say, look how generous they are. You know, that really does say something about them. Well, yeah, it actually does, and Hamas is using people as weapons. That's what it says. That's what it means. The Jerusalem Post reported, Israel's Shin Bet security service and police force jointly interrogated 6 detainees from Gaza, terrorists, who participated in the destruction and mass murder of October 7th, 2023. Each terrorist had a slightly different experience, but Israeli intelligence forces noted a number of common themes. All the Hamas agents were given explicit instructions to kill and kidnap civilians, including the elderly, along with women and children. While they did this, their commanders stayed behind in Gaza. In other words, it's absolutely clear that Hamas planned all along to take hostages in order to use people as weapons against Israel, as they've done for years, placing their military bases or their weapon systems right next to where people are, schools and hospitals and communities. We call that human shields. And as I've said in the past, that Israel uses rockets to protect its people while the Palestinians use people to protect its rockets. But here's another thing Israel's obtained from these interrogations. One of the terrorists told Israeli forces that whoever brings a hostage back to Gaza gets $10,000 and an apartment. So not only were hostages a part of the plan, but they would receive a special reward for doing so. And again, it would just depress you to follow the money from the United States to Iran to Hamas. So just do yourself a favor and don't do that today. As a Christian, there's nothing wrong. In fact, there's everything good about swearing allegiance to the American flag. Why is that? Because of the virtues of which the flag flies. It speaks to our providential founding and has been for nearly 200 years a symbol of freedom to those who seek it. You can fly the American flag with pride from your front porch or out in the front yard. You can even hang one on the wall in the house, the garage, the office, or wherever you wish. I recommend getting a flag that will last and withstand the weather throughout the seasonal changes of the year. So check out the supplies at Allegiance Flags. Check the link in the show notes or head over to WeTheFreeShow.com for more. Military and first responders get 10% off all orders.